What is LMIA? In the previous video, I mentioned that in many situations foreign workers need an LMIA or Labor Market Impact Assessment letter before they can apply for their work permit and start working in Canada. This is the case with caregiver work permits for agricultural workers, and in several other situations listed in this slide. So what is exactly LMIA? LMIA is a letter issued by Service Canada, which is part of the Canadian federal government. And in the letter, Service Canada basically tells Canadian employers it is okay for you to hire a foreign worker because we believe this will not have a negative impact on the Canadian labor market. This is how LMIA letter looks like. Usually it has around 4 or 5 pages. On the first page we see employer's name, address and business number, and at the very beginning they inform the employer that their application for LMIA is approved. After that, they provide useful information to the employer and the foreign worker. The fourth page is so-called Annex A, where Service Canada records LMIA number, purpose of LMIA application. It can be used for work permit only, for support of PR application only, or for both. Employer information, representative information, job information. Annex B provides information about the foreign worker indicated in the LMIA application. This page is not supposed to be sent to the foreign worker or workers, but in most situations employers send all pages of the letter to the foreign worker or workers. Foreign workers have 6 months to apply for their work permit. After that, LMIA expires and their employer would have to apply for LMIA again if they still want to hire a foreign worker. If foreign workers change his or her mind, Canadian employer can change the name of the foreign worker only one time, and that new foreign worker can use the already approved LMIA. LMIA application process has very little to do with the foreign worker, and it has everything to do with the employer's situation and their effort to hire locally, as we will see in a minute. LMIA is mostly used for work permit applications, but sometimes it is also used to support foreign nationals' application for permanent resident status in Canada in the economic class of immigration. When you see the phrase job offer on the CIC website, in practically all situations this means an approved LMIA. LMIA letter is very, very important for the vast majority of immigration applications. The only problem is that many Canadian employers do not have time to prepare LMIA applications properly because Service Canada has set of very strict rules regarding advertising and how to provide proof of advertising. They usually require proof of business legitimacy, and also Canadian employers have to pay $1,000 processing fee in most situations. LMIA applications, which are used only for PR applications, are free of charge. LMIA application process is complicated, time-consuming, and for many employers confusing, so they more than often hire immigration consultants or immigration lawyers to help them with those applications. When employers send their application to Service Canada, what is that Service Canada looks at? This is what they assess. Is employer's business an active business or it only exists on paper? Is a worker really needed for the business, or employer is just trying to do a favor to the foreign worker and help them obtain a work permit and legal status in Canada? Will employer be able to pay proper wages to the foreign worker? Did the employer fulfill his obligations when they applied for LMIA in the past? What occupation foreign worker will be working in? Did the employer follow requirements regarding wage, working conditions, and advertising and recruitment? If a vacant position is part of the union, that needs to be looked into. Did the employer make a reasonable effort to hire locally before giving a job offer to the foreign worker? What will be labor market benefit if Canadian employer hires a foreign worker? This is the quick outline of the process with corresponding timelines. In most situations, employers have to advertise their vacant position for at least 1 month before they apply for LMIA. They have to interview all qualified applicants among Canadian citizens and permanent residents of Canada. Employers must make genuine effort to hire local candidates before they ask for approval to hire a foreign worker. After 1 month or so, if no qualified candidates are identified among Canadian citizens or permanent residents of Canada, employers can prepare and send their LMIA application package to Service Canada. Service Canada usually needs 2 to 3 months to process LMIA applications. 1 week or so before they make their final decision, they call the employer and speak with them over the phone. Once LMIA is approved, the employer sends LMIA letter and job offer letter to the foreign worker, and after that, foreign worker can apply for his or her work permit. So the advertising phase takes at least 1 month. Service Canada processing takes 2 to 3 months, and work permit application usually takes around 2 months. Once a work permit is approved by CIC, foreign worker can come to Canada and start working for his Canadian employer. Actual work permit is issued at the border crossing or at the airport at arrival to Canada. Again, very simplified, the process goes like this. Canadian employer sends application to Service Canada. They review application and send an LMIA letter back to the employer saying it is okay to hire a foreign worker. Employer sends LMIA letter and job offer letter to the foreign worker. Foreign worker applies for their work permit. Canadian immigration assesses their application and sends a letter back to the foreign worker saying your work permit has been approved. Here is the whole process in a bit more detail. Step 1. Canadian employer must advertise vacant position for at least 1 month. There are a couple of situations when 1 month advertising is not required, and give a fair chance to local candidates to be hired. Step 2. Canadian employer sends LMIA application package to Service Canada. Job must be advertised within the past 3 months, counting from the date when Service Canada receives LMIA application. In most situations, employers must pay a $1,000 processing fee for each foreign worker named in the LMIA application. Processing takes 2 to 3 months. Step 3. Canadian employer must find a foreign worker if foreign worker is not named in the LMIA application form. Almost always the employer knows who the foreign worker is before they apply for LMIA. Step 4. Canadian employer sends LMIA letter and job offer letter to the foreign worker who is expected to apply for work permit within the 6 months LMIA validity window. Step 5. Foreign workers apply for their work permit either online or by sending an application to the local visa application center. Once a work permit application is approved, Canadian visa officer sends a letter to the foreign worker informing them their work permit was approved. Actual work permit is issued to the foreign worker at the entry into Canada. For additional information regarding LMIA application process, see whatislmo.com and Service Canada website.